Hey guys, how's it going? Today on All Ball, we're going to be talking about the trades that need to happen before the trade deadline. So let's hop into the video. Let's start with the most obvious one. Russell Westbrook needs to be traded for Jeremy Grant. Now for all of you who think that keeping Westbrook is a good idea, you're honestly delusional. But let's compare some stats between the two of them. Now by looking at these stats, some of you may think, why would you want this trade to happen? They're basically averaging the same points per game, and Westbrook in fact has a greater effect on the game when it comes to rebounds and assists. And if you did think that, then you've probably been living under a rock. I'm not asking for Westbrook to be traded for this, or even this. Well, technically I am, but it doesn't end there. Obviously Westbrook's turnovers have been ridiculously high this season, but NBA analysts are getting fooled by this guy again, just like they did during his MVP season. Westbrook had some games this season where he had been recording 0 or even 1 turnover, but what the public isn't realizing is that those were his most inefficient games. His field goal percentage was trash, his free throw percentage was trash, and you guessed it, they still ended up losing that game. Now, do I think that Russ has the potential to be a really good player? Yes, but he just won't be, and let me tell you why. When Russ is having a good game, he lets it get to his head. Recently, the Lakers played against the Charlotte Hornets. Both LeBron and AD were out for this game, so Russ took it upon himself to carry this Lakers team. Now to be fair to him, Russ actually played well. He started off slow, only scoring 5 points in the first half, but he finished the game with 35 points. So you're probably thinking, what's the problem then? Well, towards the end of the game, the Lakers were down by 2 points, and they had the last possession, and they could have tied the game and gone into overtime. But here comes Russell Westbrook shooting a 3. Honestly, look at your 3-point percentage. You rank second last in 3-pointers in the league. Just take it to the basket and tie the ball game. And you probably guessed it, the Lakers lost that game. But it doesn't end there. In the post-game press conference, Westbrook looks super happy. During that game, Bridges got a technical foul after he blocked Westbrook and taunted him for it. And Russ was just smiling the entire press conference about how Bridges shouldn't have done that and how he should have known his place. Russ, you lost the game. He won. Why Jeremy Grant? Well, for starters, Jeremy Grant is a solid piece. He doesn't have this misconception in his head like Westbrook that he's a superstar, and he'll be able to understand his role perfectly. This team already has 2 superstars in LeBron and AD. They don't need another one, and especially Westbrook. All they need is a person who will be a good fit for the team so that LeBron and AD can be in the best position to secure a dub for the Lakers, and I think that Jeremy Grant will fit that role perfectly. For the second trade, we have Damian Lillard for Ben Simmons. Lillard isn't having the best season this year. He's not in the running for the MVP conversation, and he's not going to be in the All-Star game this year. It's funny because in the last few seasons, people were actually complaining about how Dame was snubbed from the All-Star team or how he should have been a starter in the All-Star game and not a reserve. But this season is completely different. He's out of everyone's radar. So what's the upside of this trade for the 76ers? Well, for starters, the 76ers will actually acquire someone who's actually playing games, not getting kicked out of practice because he has his phone in his pocket and isn't willing to play any games at all. And the second thing is, Lillard isn't actually playing that bad. He's averaging 24, 4 and 7. Sure, he's not as efficient as he used to be, but I honestly think that it's because he's tired of playing for the Portland Trail Blazers. As close as Lillard has come to making a deep playoff run, the closest he's come is the conference finals. And this Portland team doesn't have what it takes to push it over the edge and be in contention for a championship. The Blazers are honestly having one of their worst seasons ever, and are probably not even going to make the playoffs this season. On top of that, this Blazers front office isn't doing anything to help Dame either. Sure, CJ McCollum is a decent player, but it's just not enough, and I don't think this Blazers team is going to get better anytime soon. So what would Lillard do in the 76ers? Well, he knows that he'll be in contention to win a championship straight off the bat. With Joel Embiid by his side, the point guard center combo would be lethal. And most importantly, Joel Embiid being an extremely injury-prone player would have some solid help. If Embiid ever gets injured, at least the 76ers will have a player who can help them win while he's not in the game. Ben Simmons, on the other hand, can do whatever he wants. He doesn't want to play in Philly at any cost, so hopefully a new start in Portland is exactly what he needs, and maybe the Blazers front office can build around it. Now for the last trade, we have Bradley Beal to the Boston Celtics. Now both the Celtics and Wizards are good teams. If you watched my last video, I predicted that the Celtics would get bounced out in the first round of the playoffs, while the Wizards would lose in the play-in tournament to the Hornets. So even though these teams are decent, none of them can really make a deep playoff run. That being said, Bradley Beal is a free agent this season. And if Beal can get traded to the Celtics, they would honestly be a solid team capable of going against any team in the NBA. With the trio of Tatum, Brown and Beal, this Celtics team could go a long way. Most importantly, the Celtics are in desperate need of a veteran leader who can hopefully improve the chemistry of the Celtics team. Tatum and Brown don't get along on the court, Marcus Smart has these mini outbursts, while Al Horford is just weird. Anyway, I think that Bradley Beal is the best player to solve all of these problems, besides the Al Horford ones. Let me know in the comments if you agree with these trades. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and see you guys in the next video.